Good morning, everybody. Buongiorno a tutti, and thanks for your presence. It's a great pleasure and honor in my quality of President of the Italian-Cypriot Chamber of Commerce to host in our September Small Talk the Minister of Agriculture, Rural Development and Environment of the Republic of Cyprus, His Excellency Costas Kadis, whom I warmly thank for the presence. His Excellency Kadis was appointed as the Minister of Agriculture in March 2018, and previously, from 2014, covered the role of Minister of Education and Culture of the Government of Cyprus. He had also a short experience in 2007 as Minister of Health of the Republic. His Excellency is a biology, graduated in Athens with a PhD in the same university, and has a relevant experience in research projects, and is also author of scientific publication focused on sustainable management of natural resources, biodiversity conservation, and environmental education. He has been member of several scientific committees in the field of research and environment in Cyprus and abroad. The aim of today's discussion is to give an overview of the agriculture and circular economy sector in Cyprus, and the linked related investment with particular focus on the National Recovery and Resilience Plan. In this regard, important sources has been allocated in Cyprus to develop a new model of growth and diversification of the economy, also through innovation in agricultural techniques, in order to achieve a productivity in line with the 21st century, transforming Cyprus in an hub of excellency in agri-tech. Agri-tech, also innovation in agriculture, will be also one of the topics of the 4th edition of the Cypriot Italian Business Forum that will take place next week on 29th of September in Rome, at the presence of the Minister of Energy, Commerce and Industry of Cyprus, His Excellency Natasa Pilides, and the Deputy Minister for Economic Development of Italy, His Excellency Gilberto Pichetto Fratini. Today's Smart Talk will be moderated by the Delegate of the Chamber for Agri-Food and Environment, Dr. Nicola Barbera, that is a veterinary also with habilitation to practice in Italy and UK, and who has gained a relevant experience in many areas linked to agriculture, food production, environment, also dealing with the European projects. After the discussion, the conclusion will be managed by the Vice President of the Italian-Cypriot Chamber, Federico. Before to leave the floor to Nicola, I would like to remark that we see a huge potential of cooperation in this sector between Cyprus and Italy. And in this regard, the Italian-Cypriot Chamber is already working on several activities and initiatives involving also university and research institutes of both countries. Great potential then, and I'm sure that today's discussion will be a further confirmation. Let's start. Please, Nicola.
Thank you, Giuseppe. Your Excellency, thank you much for giving us the opportunity to have an interactive conversation with you on some really interesting and topical subjects. To get started, may I kindly ask you to give to our audience a general overview of the main areas of interest of the ministry that you are currently leading, and in this framework, may I also ask you to speak about the pivotal role played by your administration regarding the preparation of the National Plan for Recovery and Resilience.
Thank you very much. A very good morning to you and to your audience. I would like to start by thanking you for inviting me to participate at this Smart Talk, and by emphasizing the excellent relationship of collaboration between Cyprus and Italy. I trust that today's Smart Talk will provide opportunities for enhancing this relationship. Our ministry, the Ministry of Agriculture, Rural Development and Environment, aims at promoting sustainable development for agriculture and fisheries, while contributing to environmental protection and sustainable management of both the environment and the natural resources of Cyprus, through added value initiatives and actions. The Ministry's vision is a sustainable, green, and clean Cyprus, a country that adapts the principles of sustainable development in agriculture, fisheries, and natural resources management, while creating employment opportunities, especially in the green and blue economy, and enhancing the citizens' quality of life. Within our vision, we have developed the following midterm strategic objectives. First, reforming of the agricultural economy and strengthening the competitiveness of agriculture. Second, promoting green and blue growth by contributing to the restructuring of our economy. Then is protecting the environment and promoting the principles of the circular economy and the sustainable use of resources. Contributing to the reduction of the greenhouse gas emissions, adaptation to climate change, and prevention of the risks arising from it. Then the upgrading of the services relating to food safety and public health, promoting an integrated framework for the protection and welfare of animals, strengthening international and regional cooperation to address common challenges, full exploitation of the opportunities offered by the Resilience and Recovery Plan, the Rural Development Programme, and other financial instruments of the European Union. And last but not least, contributing to the achievement of the ambitious environmental goals set at European level by adapting the basic principles of Green Deal. Regarding our challenges, I would like to mention that one of the long-standing problems of Cyprus is water scarcity, having a negative impact on development, the environment, agriculture, and public health. The situation has deteriorated in recent decades as a result of climate change, with frequent and gradually increasing droughts. In view of these challenges, the need to find and implement measures that aim at increasing water availability and water security is a priority for the Ministry of Agriculture, Rural Development and Environment. The objective is to satisfy the water demand for domestic, agricultural, industrial, environmental and other uses to the maximum extent possible through the optimum and sustainable use of conventional and non-conventional water resources, such as desalination and recycled water. Another important aspect of sustainable water management is the implementation of the European Union acquis in the water sector. The European Union has developed a comprehensive water policy, which has been gradually developed to deal not only with the challenges regarding health, but also the environmental impacts from the main sectors of water use. In Cyprus, particular emphasis is given to the implementation of all relevant directives, including the Water Framework Directive, the Floods Directive, and the Urban Wastewater Treatment Directive. Our ministry had an active role in the drafting of the Cyprus National Recovery and Resilience Plan, in close collaboration with ministries, deputy ministries, state organizations, and relevant stakeholders. As you may know, the European Commission proceeded in 2020 in developing an exceptional and temporary instrument to finance the recovery and exit of the European Union from the COVID-19 crisis. This instrument is called the Next Generation EU and has a total budget of 715 billion under the new multi-annual financial framework 2021 to 2027. The core of this instrument is the Recovery and Resilience Facility with 672.5 billion in available loans and grants to support reforms and investments to be implemented by EU member states in order to mitigate the economic and social impact of the pandemic and to make European economies and societies more sustainable, resilient, and better prepared for future challenges. The Recovery and Resilience Facility has a special focus on green and digital transitions. A prerequisite for access to and use of the financial funds of the Recovery and Resilience Facility by member states was the preparation of the comprehensive national plans. In Cyprus, the above mechanisms account for a grant of almost 1 billion, as well as the possibility of additional borrowing of up to 1.5 billion at constant prices of 2018. Now, the strategic objective of the Cyprus's National Recovery and Resilience Plan is to strengthen the resilience of the economy and the country's potential for economic, social, and environmentally sustainable long-term growth and prosperity. The reforms and investment projects that our ministry will implement through the RRF are in line with the vision of our ministry, as it was described in the beginning of my answer. With these measures, we are able to look to the future with optimism, because they are expected to radically change the performance and the overall image of Cyprus in a number of areas where over time Cyprus has been weak. The main sectors of our ministry's activities that are covered by the RRF measures are the sustainable management of water resources, the management of solid and livestock waste, the protection of forests from fires, the protections of the marine ecosystem, the sustainable development of aquaculture, and the need to reduce carbon dioxide emissions in industries, businesses, and organizations, as well as in agriculture. The total budget to be allocated to our ministry through RRF amounts to 200 million and provides for the implementation of 19 measures, of which concern investment projects and 5 reforms in the areas that I described just before. These days, we are working hard towards the preparation of the implementation of these reforms and of these investment projects.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer. You know, a fair share of our network associates is really interested in the outlook of Cyprus agriculture sector. May I ask you to elaborate on the main project and investments in this sector and on the current status of the agriculture sector? And if I may, I would be interested in innovation in the agtech sector perspectives connected to environmental protection, also obviously in the framework of the recovery plan.
Okay, I will try to briefly give you an overview of our agricultural sector, including fisheries and aquaculture. Currently in Cyprus, the total utilized agricultural area consists of about 120,000 hectares. The dominant cultivation is cereals, mostly barley and wheat, followed by the cultivation of citrus, olives, carob trees, vines, potatoes, tomatoes, cucumbers, watermelons, etc. The primary sector contributes close to 2% of the national GDP, while employing almost 5% of the workforce. Cyprus agriculture is surely not able to compete in quantities and prices with other countries in the mass production model. Therefore, we focus on products that can be distinguished by their identity and their quality. Soon, a new national official label will be adopted, the Cypriot products label, and this label will identify products made by the local agricultural sector using local raw materials. In addition, creating more registered protected designation of origin, the well-known PDOs, the PDO products, will strengthen regional development through the creation of new small businesses and thus new jobs. The most famous agricultural product of Cyprus is, of course, halloumi, our white cheese. Halloumi is by far the most important agricultural product of Cyprus, and for several years now it has been the flagship of the island's exports. After a long procedure, halloumi has recently registered as a PDO according to the European Union legislation. Over the last 2 years, we have introduced a number of initiatives to boost the agricultural sector in areas such as water and waste management, smart farming, environmental protection, and new measures to ensure better animal welfare. We believe that innovation and sustainability will be the key objectives to gradually drive the transition of Cyprus to a low carbon resource efficient economy, influencing market demand and creating new investment and employment opportunities. At the moment, we are in the process of preparing our new rural development plan, which will cover the period 2023 to 2027. It will include measures that are in line with the new common agricultural policy of the European Union and will promote a more green and a more sustainable agriculture. I would also like to say a few words about aquaculture, an activity of the broader agricultural sector that falls under the competences of my ministry. In fact, it is a very important part of the national fisheries sector, as it represents over 80% both in terms of volume and value of the total national fisheries production. It has the capacity to provide whole fresh products, but also processed products, both fresh and frozen. The aquaculture activity is export-oriented, with over 60% of the products being exported to many countries around the world, but primarily Middle East, as well as the United States of America. Aquaculture products is the third most important export product in terms of value from the broader primary sector, the primary production sector. Agriculture's further sustainable development is a major pillar of the ministry's policy. The most important, aquaculture, further sustainable development is a major pillar of the ministry's policy. The most important marine aquaculture species produced in Cyprus are the sea bream and sea bass at the rate of 65% and 35% of total production, respectively. The production of table-sized fish from aquaculture in 2019 amounted to approximately 8 tons with a value of 44 million. Within the ministry's policy for promoting innovation in the broader agricultural sector, in combination with the further sustainable aquaculture development, specific plans are being prepared for the construction of a collaborative port and land facilities designed to serve marine offshore aquaculture activities. This facility will be funded through the National Recovery and Resilience Plan. It will increase the production capacity and will also provide for opportunities for further real offshore expansion of these activities. Additionally, it will reduce further aquaculture's carbon footprint and greenhouse emissions, and will provide for better control, checks, and inspections. All of these will contribute towards the goals of the European Union Green Deal, and more specifically of the biodiversity strategy, the climate change, as well as of the farm to fork strategy. As regards capture fisheries, although the annual contribution of marine capture fisheries to the Cypriot economy is relatively low, This sector is considered important mainly because it offers economic and social benefits to coastal areas, it creates jobs and offers healthy products to consumers. The Cypriot commercial fishing fleet consists of around 800 vessels, of which the great majority are small vessels involved in small-scale coastal fisheries. The capture fisheries sector in Cyprus is currently facing significant sustainability problems due to various factors, such as overfishing of certain species, low productivity of the region. It's a similar challenge, I think, that Italy faces. The limitation of fishing fields in Cyprus due to the Turkish occupation, the lack of professional training of fishermen in modern fishing and navigation methods, etc. In addition, the growing presence of alien species has negative effects to the marine ecosystem and fisheries. Now, turning to Cypriot and Italian agriculture now, I would like to highlight that although they differ in size, definitely, they appear to have certain common characteristics due to the similar climate conditions between Cyprus and Italy, especially the southern part of Italy. This is why the Agricultural Research Institute of Cyprus is often working closely with many agricultural Italian universities in the agricultural research field. It is also worth noting that there is a relevant reform in our National Recovery Plan entitled Move Agriculture Practices from the 20th Century to the 21st Century by investing in a National Center for Excellence in Agri-Tech. To this end, the collaboration between the Agricultural Research Institute of Cyprus and universities from abroad will be in the form of joint master and PhD degrees. This reform creates further prospects and opportunities for collaboration of our institute with Italian Research and Innovation Organization. Finally, I would like to reassure you of the readiness of our ministry to facilitate both the transnational cooperation between our countries and private initiatives or investments or joint ventures with the Italian government.
Yes, you mentioned some topics on which we have prepared questions, so we will begin. But let's start with one of these. Circular economy became a sector of major interest. What are the main incentives offered by Cyprus authority for foreign investors who are interested in the waste-to-energy sector?
Thank you for this question. We certainly encourage and welcome investments for waste-to-energy infrastructure in Cyprus, particularly taking into consideration the very ambitious target of the EU landfill directive, which requires member states to reduce landfill to a maximum of 10% of the total amount of municipal waste generated by 2035. It is clear that to achieve such a reduction in landfill, infrastructure is needed for the treatment of mixed and residual waste. Waste-to-energy technologies offer this possibility, while also contributing to the production of energy from alternative resources. So far, there has been some interest from the private sector for investments in waste-to-energy infrastructure, which we are evaluating. At the same time, we are examining the need for a central plant for treatment of residual waste. In general, Cyprus will actively encourage the growth of the green economy by reducing reliance on fossil fuels, reducing the carbon footprint, and promoting the circular economy. In the context of circular economy, emphasis is placed on waste management improvement. The relevant measure has been included in the National Recovery and Resilience Plan, with the objective to contribute effectively to upscaling efforts towards reuse, as well as recycling of bio-waste. The investment consists of three constituents. The first one is the distribution of 50 small and medium-sized composters and 2,000 home composters in rural and semi-rural communities for facilitating the separate collection and proper treatment of bio-waste. The second is the development, setup, installation and operation of 15 green kiosks for dry recyclables to help municipalities to remote areas to improve their waste management schemes. And the third is the construction and operation of 2 reuse and repair centers in strategic locations in Cyprus, in Nicosia, one in Nicosia and one in Limassol, that can serve all 5 regions together with an associated network of reuse shops. Other important projects focusing on waste management based on the principles of circular economy are funded by the structural funds of the European Union. One example is the project that will facilitate the implementation of the pay-as-you-throw scheme, which will be adopted by all the local authorities of Cyprus, and it will promote the separate collection of different waste streams. In general, we welcome investments through which the principles of circular economy will be adapted in the field of waste management.
Okay, the Italian-Cypriot Chamber of Commerce is supporting important Italian groups active in the waste management sector. Does the ministry foresee specific plans in this area, just you told now, and especially with the reference to European Union targets and technology development?
Yes, we welcome any interest in this area. The area of waste management is important for Cyprus, and despite recent progress, a lot remains to be done. We have a lot of challenges. So the ministry recognizes the need for further initiatives to realize our visions for a truly circular economy.
Okay.
Let me tell you that the reduction of waste production and the sustainable management of waste are promoted through our waste management strategy, with measures particularly focusing on reuse and recycling in line with the principle of circular economy. These include important infrastructure improvements, such as the construction of the 2 MPT plants and the construction, operation and expansion, the scheduled expansion of the Green Points network. More importantly, the strategy has provided the basis for legislative framework for the establishment of separate collection systems by local authorities for a number of waste streams, including organic waste. And the more ambitious policies and legislation promoted under the circular economy package of the EU now provide further incentives to enhance our efforts. Therefore, the National Waste Management Strategy is currently being revised to determine the future planning needs and measures to be implemented to meet new requirements of the circular economy package, including measures to promote the necessary infrastructure for the recycling and treatment of waste. Part of revised strategy will focus on infrastructure needs for the treatment of the separately collected recyclable and organic waste. And it is important for Cyprus to identify appropriate treatment options that are not only technically feasible, but economically viable, taking into consideration the small size of the island and the need for economies of scale, while at the same time providing us with infrastructure we need. The upcoming separate collection of a number of waste streams, particularly organic waste, is of particular concern, as we need to ensure that Cyprus has the available infrastructure to treat this. Let me just mention that at present, 11 anaerobic treatment plants are operating in Cyprus, for the treatment of livestock, organic industrial waste, animal byproducts that have undergone pasteurization, as well as other organic waste.
Okay. Well, okay, now let's go back to one of the topic you were talking about at the beginning, climate change. Climate change has become a matter of global concern, and certainly a matter of special interest to the Mediterranean countries that are already experiencing its adverse effects, like Italy, for example. Can you please give us some information on the Cyprus initiative to address climate change at regional level?
Yes, thank you very much for providing me the opportunity to say a few words about our initiative to address climate change at the regional level. As you may know, the Eastern Mediterranean and Middle East has been classified by the scientific community as one of the global climate change hotspots due to its vulnerability to the impacts of climate change. Our countries are already witnessing the serious adverse effects of climate change. Climate change in our region, I mean, you can also feel it. It's not a theory anymore. It's a reality that we feel it every day. In Cyprus, we experience more intensive heat waves, increased water scarcity, and more frequent extreme weather patterns and events. This is the case in all the region. As a result of these phenomena, the livelihoods of our citizens are under unprecedented threat. All the countries of the region have expressed their concern about the impacts of climate change on the region, but also their willingness to comply with the Paris Agreement. Recognizing the importance of regional cooperation for addressing climate change, Cyprus has launched an initiative which promotes coordination and cooperation among the countries of the Eastern Mediterranean and the Middle East. Through this initiative, Cyprus brings together distinguished scientists and policymakers to work together in order to develop solutions for our shared problems, solutions that will be scientifically sound, they will be practical, achievable, and will have enduring benefits for our citizens. To achieve this objective, a detailed work program has been developed consisting of two distinct components, a scientific one and an intergovernmental component. Within the framework of the scientific component, 13 task forces have been established, which are currently engaging more than 220 distinguished scientists, most of them coming from our region. The advanced findings of each task force, focusing on policies to be recommended to the policymakers, will be presented at the international conference entitled Climate Change in the Eastern Mediterranean and the Middle East, which will be organized in Cyprus on the 13th and 14th of October 2021. Based on the findings of the scientific community, the policymakers of the participating countries will develop an action plan consisting of appropriate and scientifically sound policies and measures for each of the scientific areas covering the respective task force. For example, one task force focuses on climate change in tourism, climate change in health, climate change in water, etc., etc. This action plan will be presented and discussed in a ministerial meeting to be organized in Cyprus on the 2nd and 3rd of February 2022, and the final action plan will be approved by the leaders of the participating countries in a summit that will be organized in summer of or autumn 2022. And of course, our vision is to use climate change not only as a challenge, but as an opportunity to show the world what countries can achieve when they work together to achieve a very ambitious target.
Thank you. Thank you. Italy, you know, is a lasting tradition in agriculture, and it is evolving towards a more sustainable exploitation of resources. This process has been made possible through companies that represent some of the best practice worldwide in water management. An example is the underwater garden of Nemo, which is an innovative project on agriculture 4.0 below the surface of the sea. May I ask you if there are projects like this here in Cyprus?
Well, climate change is expected to have a negative impact on the quality and availability of the island's water resources over the coming decades. Therefore, Cyprus focuses on the exploitation of non-conventional water resources. For example, the use of desalinated water contributes to the enhancement of water supply needs, increases the reliability of drinking water resources, and ensures uninterrupted supply of drinking water to consumers in urban, suburban, and tourist centers and large numbers of communities, regardless of weather conditions. In Cyprus, 5 permanent desalination plants are currently in operation under long-term contracts using the public-private partnership procurement method for the provision of drinking water. Furthermore, our ministry is promoting the installation of small private desalination plants for the production of non-drinking water in order to cover the irrigation needs of agricultural facilities, hotels, golf courses, water parks, and other related sectors. In addition, the use of tertiary treated wastewater provides significant protection against droughts, and Cyprus is investing in projects for the maximum utilization of tertiary treated recycled water in order to reinforce its water balance. Recycled water is a constant source of water since the quantities produced are based on water consumption. The utilization of additional quantities of water for irrigation of crops increases employment opportunities for new farmers, while contributing to the preservation and development of agriculture. At the same time, it enhances the primary sector and contributes to food security, which is particularly important for the sustainable development of an island like Cyprus. And we would welcome other innovative ideas which could promote better management of our water resources or securing additional water resources.
Perfect, thank you. Let's talk a little bit about food. Recalling a recent Cyprus success in food industry, for which we congratulate you. In April, the European Commission recognized the protected designation of origin of the Cyprus cheese halloumi. Do you expect that this recognition will boost halloumi's export towards the European Union and Italy?
Yes, the registration of halloumi was indeed a great success for Cyprus. Adding a product to the PDO product catalog has multiple benefits for both the producers and the rural economy of the region, and also for the country that produces it. In the case of halloumi, the benefits of being registered as a PDO are expanding and gaining much more importance. As I mentioned before, halloumi is the most important agricultural product of Cyprus and the second most important export product after medicines. I will just give you some numbers. In the 3 years from 2017 to 2019, the volume exports jumped from approximately 23,000 tons to 34,000 tons, marking an increase of 43%. The value of halloumi exports in 2019 reached 224 million. So the popularity of halloumi brought a lot of threats from imitation products and from players around the world who want to become involved in the production of halloumi. Therefore, by registering the product in the PDO products catalog, all imitation products cease to use the name halloumi, and a strong protection is created around this name, safeguarding the interests of all those involved in the production chain. This is why we expect halloumi exports to maintain and even expand their dynamics in all markets, including, of course, the very distinguished and prestigious Italian cheese market.
Yes. On the same subject, do you have any news that you want to share with us about other similar PDO recognition ongoing procedures in Cyprus? Yes.
As I mentioned in the beginning, Cyprus agriculture is surely not able to compete in quantities and prices with other countries, with other big countries in the mass production model, which secure economies of scale. It's obvious. Therefore, our strategic target is to focus on products that can be easily identified based on their quality and on their identity. Creating more registered PDO products will strengthen regional development through the creation of new small businesses and therefore new jobs. As for the other PDO and PGI products of geographical indication, 7 products have already been registered as PGIs. I will mention them. The first is Lukumi Yeroskipou. This is a delight. Kufeta Yeroskipou is an almond candy. Pafitiko Lukaniko is a sausage from the Paphos area. Gliko Triantafyllou Agrou is a sweet from rose petals produced in Agros village. Lukaniko Pitsilias is a sausage from the Pitsilia area. Lunza Pitsilias and Hiromeri Pitsilias are pork meat cold cuts. As PDOs, we have, of course, halloumi and kolokasi and poules sotiras. These are tuberous roots of Colocasia plant. This something looks like a potato. It's very tasty. And now we're approaching the lunchtime, so I will prepare your appetite. The dossiers for macaronias milas, this is a traditional pasta of Cyprus, and terchilouthia, which is traditional biscuits cooked in grape syrup, have also been sent to the European Commission for examination at community level. At national level, we still have the applications for registration of the names as PGIs for Rodostagma Agrou, which is a rosewater from Agros village, and potato Kokkinogis Kokkinoporio, which is a red soil potato. Cyprus is very well known for the quality of its potatoes. So these are the products that are, their registration is underway.
Yes, as you can see, I'm a good man, and during my stays in Cyprus, I had the opportunity to test these very blunt products. Excellency, Mr. Minister, let me conclude my long list of questions asking you a suggestion. what we can do as the Italian-Cypriot Chamber of Commerce to support the ministry action to create synergies with the Italian companies in Cyprus and in Italy? And are you working on a specific communication strategy designed to attract Italian investment in Cyprus?
Well, this is more under the competences of the Ministry of Commerce, but of course, we welcome the collaborations of Cypriot and Italian partners, and we can facilitate these collaborations. From what I mentioned so far, it is clear that water is a critical factor for Cyprus and affects the agricultural, tourist, and generally the economic activity of the country. Many of us used to say that the water scarcity problem is the second biggest problem of Cyprus after the political problem and the division of our country. So this is how critical we consider the water factor for our economy. Recognizing that Cyprus and Italy, and especially the southern part of Italy, are facing similar challenges with respect to sustainable management, protection, and utilization of water resources, it would be beneficial to strengthen cooperation in order to address topics such as education and training, research, development and innovation, technologies and techniques in areas of mutual interest in the field of water resources. And in particular, cooperation could be encouraged and promoted and facilitated by our side in the following areas. For example, water resources management and protection with particular emphasis on water treatment and water quality control. Seawater desalination with emphasis on energy efficiency improvement. Wastewater treatment and reuse. Water demand management. Efficiency of water infrastructure and leakage control. We already discussed the prospects for collaboration in the field of waste management. And finally, another area of cooperation between Cyprus and Italy that could be enhanced is the agri-food sector and related activities, such as the mutual promotion of PDO and PGI products of the two countries. Moreover, in a drastically changing environment, Italy and Cyprus face similar climate change challenges which have made the animal production and consequently the production of animal products more difficult, and exchange of best practices, knowledge and expertise between the two countries can contribute towards addressing the upcoming challenges and providing a scientific framework for farmers and producers to develop. Finally, we believe that it would be mutually beneficial to expand our collaboration in promoting innovation and new technologies in agriculture, practices for better management of natural resources, and in exploring our potential in producing high quality added value products in a sustainable manner. We are at your disposal to facilitate collaborations in all these fields.
Thank you. So thank you very much, Mr. Minister, for your answers and for the occasion that give us to meet you. Now I leave the floor to Mr. Franchina, our Vice President, for the conclusion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nicola. And what I have to say that is it was a very, very interesting and fruitful discussion. So let me thanks once again His Excellency the Ministry, and our Delegate Nicola. Well done. I think that all our associates and also stakeholders from Cyprus and Italy have appreciated a lot this discussion with a lot of insights and future. And I think that agriculture and the themes that you have well treated will be on the on the current, but also on the future agenda. The waste management, the needs to have a circular economy is one of the most important topics from energy and also for economy points of view. It is, for example, unacceptable that we have to import the vegetable garbage for the biorefinery from South America, when we have a lot of European Mediterranean countries that have a lot of these kind of resources that are not put in common place. Also the theme about water, and not only the issue about its use in agriculture, but the security of the water for the future. I read a lot about this next century or next decade theme, not the scarcity of oil, but the scarcity of water, especially in the Mediterranean and in North African region. And of course, the theme of the cooperation, the opportunity. Let me say in this way that we cannot avoid this theme. Cooperation and at regional level is and should be a fundamental way. Just to take an example, the increase of the gas prices in past days has led to the stop of some fertilizer plants in the Northern Europe, with, of course, consequences on agriculture. So the cooperation is fundamental because some projects that, of course, claims for innovation, for technology development, could be done only with cooperation through states, through public and private partnership and support. And of course, the safety of the food chain and the fact that the European Union is moving to more and more attention on the protected designation origin products. So this is another relevant point, and we are very welcome that also Cyprus is received this very important knowledge and this important aware from European Union. So I think that we have all the ingredients to stay in a food area, to enhance our cooperation between Italy and Cyprus, because the challenges that we have had needs and must require this kind of cooperation. So my wish is that both from public and private in different areas, from universities to professionals to companies, will take this opportunity that, of course, for the next few years will pass through the relevant resources that the recovery and resilience plans across Europe are putting on the table. So this is my wish, and as the Italian-Cypriot Chamber of Commerce, we are very, very glad to play our role, to put on the same table different people, professionals, stakeholders, shareholders, and so on, to cope with this very, very important challenge. So once again, thank you very much for the time, for a very fruitful discussion, and for the insights that you have kindly provided. Thank you very much again. Oh, sorry, last but not least, I would like to remind to our audience the event that we will have on next week on 29th, the 4th Italian-Cypriot Business Forum that will be held in Rome. Details will be provided next days, but just to block your agenda, it is on 29th afternoon. And I think that the agriculture and the agri-tech will be one of the topic that we will be treated at this very important and meeting from leading by Italian-Cypriot Chamber of Commerce. So thank you very much again, and have a nice and good day to everybody. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye.